Would you believe Mrs. Foul Play called this bird ugly? Keep watching, we'll explain. That's my good girl.
Jessica coming out the door too.
So Mrs. Foul Play, do you remember what you said about Rosie when you first saw her?
I thought she was an ugly little chicken, is what I said. But she's beautiful.
You heard it straight from Mrs. Foul Play herself. So Teresa Rose, Teresa Rose is her official name. She was an orphan. We got her from one of my co-workers who had 2 chickens and some ducks. I think it was just 2 chickens, and the chickens' names were Jill and Teresa. Sadly, the other ducks and chicken were a victim of a predator somehow, they think, and Teresa was the one left standing. So in conversation at work one day, she said, "Hey, I got this chicken that is an orphan. It's by herself. I really don't know what to do with her." She thought perhaps she would give her to her dad, and just through a lot of conversation, and I said, "We'll take her." I just immediately piped up and said, "Hey, we'll take her." And she was a little bit hesitant at first until I showed her the picture of the Holiday Inn of chicken coops. And then she was convinced that, hey, it's a good place for Teresa to be. So we adopted this little Rhode Island Red. That's the breed that she turned out to be. In fact, my coworker didn't know for sure what breed that she was, only knew that she was a pullet. And so as she grew, we figured out just through some research that Teresa was a Rhode Island Red. Now we did sort of change her name. We call her Rosie the Rhode Island Red. My wife always wanted a little chicken named Rosie, so we call her Teresa Rose or Rosie, and our little grandson calls her Rosie Posey. So we got her last July. Now you have to remember that Rose was a little bitty thing. She was only a few weeks old when we got her. And we have an established flock. And we worked desperately hard to get her integrated in the flock. And that might be another video for another time, because that was work. In fact, some people might say that's almost impossible to take a single pullet like that and get them integrated into the flock. It's not impossible, but it was a lot of work. And so we did have to separate her, and I'll show you some pictures and some video of us just making sure she's safe. And now, the Rhode Island Red, I would say she is the talkingest little chicken, as you saw in the video with Mrs. Foul Play. If chickens had a love language, Teresa Rose would be quality time. That chicken talks and talks and talks and talks. One morning in the coop, I was cleaning it, and Rosie was talking to me, and I said, "Yeah, Rose, I'll get it." And she balked at me a little more, and I said, "Okay, I hear you." And she got in my face and went, "Rock, rock, rock." And say, "I'm listening, you have my attention." So if chickens had a love language, Teresa Rose would be quality time. Ironically, when we first got her home, we had her in the kitchen. I know, chickens in the house. If you have chickens, you understand. Or if you have animals, sometimes you take them in the house. Well, little Miss Teresa Rose jumped up off of our lap and hopped up on the high chair. That was by the window. I'll show you a picture. And stayed there. And that little thing looked out the window for the longest time. In fact, the sun went down, and we said, just leave her there for for overnight. That chicken stayed on the back of that high chair overnight. And we didn't have the heart just to shove her in to a pen by herself. When we first got her, we were so worried about her being by herself, and we wish that retroly, as we think about it, would have got her a mate so she wouldn't have been by herself with all the big hens. It was a real challenge to integrate her. And then just one day she was part of the flock, and now she's kind of bossy herself. We remind her, Rosie, don't you remember when you were the little chicken and you were the one that was small and everybody was picking on? And generally her answer is the same, like, who, me? What are you talking to me, huh? No, you ain't, I didn't do that. So Rosie is, I would say, a very intelligent chicken. I think that is the nature of the breed. She's very talkative. She's a hardy little bird, lays really well. She lays consistently the biggest eggs that we get, big brown eggs, and she lays pretty much every day. So with regards to the Rhode Island Red breed, I wouldn't say that they're overly friendly. In fact, as I'm talking to you, I had Clementine and Sophie jump up on my lap as we were talking, and I just hopped them up here, and they've been sitting with me the whole time. So she's not a snuggly chicken, but she's a good chicken. She's faithful, and she is, as you can see, quite a beautiful hen, and she's hardly the ugly duckling, quote unquote, that she was when we first adopted her. So Mrs. Foulplay, why is this Rosie Red chicken your favorite chicken?
Rosie Red is my favorite chicken because she always talks to me. She follows me around and she talks to me all the time. And as soon as she sees me, she comes running and greets me, and she lays the most beautiful big round eggs almost every single day. The only thing I would say about Rosie is sometimes she has bad manners. She picks on the other chickens a little bit.
We talked about that, how when she was little we had to integrate her. If chickens had a love language, what would Rosie's love language be?
Quality time.
Quality time, absolutely.
Yep.
You think she's the smartest chicken we have?
She's a very smart chicken.
Right.
And she always comes and lets me know what's going on. She likes to talk to me from the roost at night when she's in there. She waits till I come in there to say goodnight to her. And she's one of the first one that comes running when she hears the back door slide open because she knows I'm going to be coming out of it.
She's not a snuggly chicken, is she?
She's not a snuggle chicken, no, but she will sit in my lap and she'll let me carry her around a little bit. But she's not a snuggle chicken.
Well, that's Rosie, Teresa Rose, our Rhode Island Red.